DevOps engineer, what you're supposed to do, what kind of challenges you might face, what are the courses or content that you might use for your as a journey to become a DevOps engineer, and of course my experience as last 7 years working as a DevOps engineer. I'll share all with you. Now, I know it's live session and takes some time, 1 or 2 minutes at least, so that other people can join, and it's okay. So what you can do, you guys can start asking questions, whatever question you might have, and we'll go through all that anyway, and go through that. We'll see. And yeah, when you're joining, do let me know from where you're joining, what kind of challenges you are facing, because that might I will just accept as a question, and I will answer during the session as well. So do ask me all this question, okay, and I will answer them. Now, quickly, let me see. Okay, okay, okay. I will just start in 1 minute. Just before that, let me see few questions I've asked. Okay, one good questions that Shah has asked that how to find the DevOps opportunity, and I will come to that also. Okay, a lot of questions coming, which is good. Yes, keep asking the questions. Okay, and I see people are joining, so I think we can go and start the session now. The very first question, what people have that what exactly is DevOps? I mean, if you're thinking about becoming a DevOps engineer, you should have a very clear idea what exactly is DevOps. Now, DevOps is so vast. I mean, if you ask 12 people, it's highly likable that 12 people will give you different answers. And this is actually fine because everybody have their own perspective. Okay. Now, what I suggest, look at the big sites or big practitioners like AWS, Microsoft, Azure. I mean, it's Microsoft Azure anyway, Google Cloud. So they have their own definitions. And where commonly they're saying anything that is required to develop your software solution faster and deliver it to the clients or say users, and in between that, like developing and delivering it, okay, whatever is required, be it communication, be it any tools required, be it any other infrastructure requirement, whatever it is, whatever required to fulfill the requirement to make the release faster, make the bugs found faster, make it solve faster, ultimately releasing new features as soon as possible to the all the users that you might have, or your company or business might have. That is the main focus. Now, of course, to do that you might require tools, you might require improving the communication between your dev team and operations team, or not even just dev operations, it has to be your sales team, it has to be your analyst team. So whatever is required to make the release product release faster, whatever you have to do, you have to do. And that's whatever tools is there that you might use are all falling in the DevOps. So that's the reason it's so vast and people have different definitions. But ultimately, the main word, releasing product faster or features faster, that is the end goal. Now, to do that, again, there are a lot of tools available. Just I'll give you example. Just as an infra as a code. I mean, if you guys don't know about infra as a code where you, instead of manually creating the infrastructure, for example, EC2 or say S3 or say any other blob bucket in say Azure, whatever it is, okay, or any instance in Azure or GCP, instead of going there and manually create it, you can do automate that creation using Terraform, using just say CloudFormation, using say other resources. So see, for the solution, I mean, there's a problem and there's a lot of different ways to solve it, right? So that's the reason I say that there will be many tools that you have which do the exact same thing. Maybe for different clouds, or just like Terraform, you have the multi-cloud integration opportunity. There's Pulumi also, which is very I would say widely getting used these days. Not as much as Terraform, but still getting used. So what I'm coming at that, there will be n number tools, but end goal is what, creating the infrastructure faster. And suppose any problem happen, or say you need a replica of your existing infrastructure for staging you already have, you can use the same code to replicate to staging or production or dev or QA. So whatever is required, you can do all that if you have the infrastructure code, be it in Terraform, be it in CloudFormation, be it in Azure resources, whatever, like where you're running your resources. So that doesn't matter. So that's a part. There would be many tools what you have to do, you have to find out what is your end goal. I mean, if you're working on AWS, there are more high likely chances that you will either go for the cloud formation or the Terraform or maybe Pulumi. Most cases people go for the Terraform because of the easiness to learn and all that. Okay. And because you might have your team members who are not that programmatically well, for them to understand, people might prefer the Terraform. So again, I'm not going to the tools. What I'm saying is that to solve a problem, there are a lot of tools. As a DevOps engineer, you have to identify the tool, what is required. Okay. So what will happen that you join a company and they're hiding you, say you are a DevOps engineer, so you must know how to implement the DevOps solutions or have the setup like pipeline in place, for example, or maybe whatever is required to make the release faster. So they will ask you questions: can you solve this, can you make it faster, can you automate it? Now you have to give the answers. Now you have to ask them counter questions. So as a DevOps engineer, it's also your job to gather some requirements from the client, also your team, and based on that you have to provide them solution. Okay. So of course it's going to be very vast. I will come to more and more in-depth discussion on that. So again, I hope that you guys are clear now what exactly DevOps is. Its end goal is to make the new features and product release faster, and whatever it requires. Just as a tool example I've given for Terraform, say cloud formation. Similarly, there is Ansible, say the Jenkins. I can go on and on about the tools if you like to, but those are just tools that is required to get the things done. That's it. DevOps goal is to have the better communication, release the product faster and all that. So that's what you need to understand. Now, uh, now come to the, you can say, technical requirements, of course. So suppose you want to become a DevOps engineer, what is expected from you? Like if you go to any interview, what that person, the interviewer or the technical manager going to ask? I mean, that I think most of the people square up. I mean, last 1 week I didn't had too many sessions. I mean, one-to-one meeting these days, but I had around 12 meetings after my working hours, and everywhere people, first of all, they fear that they might not be enough. Don't even appear to the interviews, which is very bad. I never suggest that. Go appear to interview, get the question. Again, that question, even if you're not able to answer, you can, that will, you get the answers, you find the answer, I mean, get the questions, find the answer, and next interview, similar question asked, you can give the answer. That should be the goal. So whatever it is, then you they will, what are the questions they ask? That's very important, right? Very first thing they will ask, do you have the Linux or shell scripting skills? I mean, that's the question. Because most of the cases you set up any pipeline, or pipeline in the sense what, suppose you have a code, and out of that code you have to make a build. Now to make that build or say runnable application, from source code to runnable application, there might be some dependencies, or say some module need to be installed, there might be some file need to be processed, there might be code need to be checked before deploying to staging production or anywhere else. So there are a lot of things need to be done, and most, I guess, the 99% cases, all these things are supposed to run in Linux system, right? So all the operation, all the preparation, all the build, you have to made using the Linux scripting. Now there are high chances that it's not just about all the time about the Linux system. There might be Windows opportunities. So specifically in case of migration, you might get a lot of this kind of Microsoft to Linux, or Linux to Microsoft. It can happen. In those cases, yes, you required some Windows skill, but my experience, I didn't had that much of Windows introductions. Mostly, it was the Linux migration or Linux setup and all that. Now, that pipeline could be in Jenkins, pipeline could be in the AWS code pipeline could be any other tool. Say there are a lot of CI solution available. Those pipeline, GitHub CI/CD. So I mean, there is GitHub, there is Git and GitHub Actions, there is GitLab CI/CD. A lot of solutions are there. Now end goal is to have the build, like from the source code to have the build ready, and to make that happen, I have seen most of the cases is you have to like had the shell scripts there. Okay. Now that's one thing. So that's the reason people will ask you, do you know, I mean, the technical interviews will ask you, do you know shell scripting or and Linux or not? If the answer is no, there is high chances that you might not get selected, and that's a fact. People may deny that, like, it's fine, but what I have seen in the current market, even not just current market, in my past few experience, if you don't have the Linux and scripting skills, you're not, you will not, might not get the job. That's the truth. Okay. Now what is the next thing? Next thing they will ask, do you know the DevOps tools? And just a generic question, okay? That do you know the DevOps tools and all? Now, the moment you say you know it, they will say what are the tools you know, okay? Now, it's a very vast question. I mean, you can go on and on. There are a lot of tools are available. You have to ask them the counter questions that what is the current solution or what is the current problem the company facing. Based on that, you should give your tools references. Otherwise, it's not a wide choice to give all the list of the tools. So that's the next. Okay, so that's you have to have a very good understanding of what are the tools available in the market. What I'm coming at, you should have a generic idea, like for say CI/CD, these are the tools available. Okay, you don't have to know all that, just know that their tools exist, and in the interview you might get asked, so can you give reference of that. Okay, that's one point. Second thing is that we have to see what are the market leaders. So each tool category, every tool category have one market leader. For example, for the infra as a code, right now market leader is a Terraform, like de facto. For the configuration management, there is a de facto is that Ansible. Okay. For example, monitoring, you have that lot of tools available. For open source, is most people use either Prometheus or Grafana or say ELK stack. For say for paid solution, people go for the New Relic or Dan. There's I think Dynatrace. So these two companies. So every category have their own market expert. You should have that knowledge. Again, I will suggest it's good choice to learn the top leaders or the top tools that will help you getting the job faster. If not, just do some your own research and get a generic idea. You might get this kind of question. What I'm saying that because to become DevOps engineer, you need a job first, right? So you have to be job ready for that. That's my goal here. Now, video not visible. If okay, if the video is not visible, do let me know. I hope that's not the case, but if it is, do let me know. Okay, I see video is visible, so it's fine. Okay, so that's one case. Now, what is next? They will ask you, do you know the containerization? I mean, there are a lot of use cases for containerization. I would say two or three most, I would say the most important ones. First one is that it removes the OS dependency. Now, what happens? Suppose you have one piece of code, and if you try to run that Windows PC or Linux PC, based on the OS, it install the dependencies, compile the codes. Now, if you try to run the exact same thing in other machine, if that suppose OS doesn't support the library, your application will not work. It's just not might or maybe no. It's definitely not going to work because that OS doesn't support that particular module. So what I'm coming at, there is a barrier. Now to remove that barrier, there is virtualizations. And virtualizations are not the current technologies, but very old technology. It evolved around time. Previously, it was some basic Linux CRI or something. Then it becomes something better. So it goes on and on. Finally, you have that Docker, you have Kubernetes, you have a lot of new options available in the market. Like Kubernetes already removed, like Docker was a default uh, you can say the running the image running machine for Kubernetes, right? Now they removed it. They have a lot of choice or options. So you all should be aware of those options as well. So what I'm coming at, first thing is that removing the OS dependency, you can just in the image itself, you can mention what base OS should have, that like that image you should have, and whatever Docker machine or said image runnable, like any container engine support that particular image will automatically install that, or it already actually install the dependency. It will simply use that image and it will run the application like you desire to run. So that removing the OS dependency, you run in any computer. Okay. Now, what is the second benefit? The second benefit is that the portability. Suppose you already containerize one application, it's like you already have the image. You push that image to any remote repository. What is the meaning of the remote repository mean? Remote repository mean it's like a normal computer or cloud computing. It's just somewhere, a computer is somewhere in the internet, some place. See, in the you're sitting in India, you're accessing a machine in say US, in Canada, or in say Mumbai. So I'm in Kolkata. I can just access a machine from Mumbai. I can just go to AWS or GCP or Azure. I can start an instance and I can start using that instance from my current location using SSH protocol. So similarly, the what I'm saying, the remote repository means a remote image repository where it could be anywhere, AWS, Azure, GCP, or any Docker hub. So most, I would say, most of the vendors now openly supporting any kind of image. You can simply create an account and you can upload that image there. And suppose you are uploading, you're in Kolkata, you are uploading one image. That image supposed to run in say any other cloud services, or maybe in some other person. That person or that particular cloud instance can pull that image from the remote repository and simply run it. So that brings a very good portability, right? And third reason, I will say, of the acceptance of different all the cloud service providers now support running the containers or some of the images. Now that giving a huge support. I mean, you can just make an image and you don't have too much worry about like this. They serverless also now supporting the Docker images or any container images. So you can just simply containerize your application and you can run even in the like in a serverless way, or in say ECAs or like any Kubernetes cluster, you can simply run your image. So you have a lot of options. So that options you can add, right? So main three reason I will say for that containers become so popular these days. So that's there. Now of course it has so much, it's giving you portability, it's giving you flexibility, it's giving you scalability. So people will of course will look to use that particular solution, right? So if a question is around the portability or say migration or running in a like scalable solution where there is 24 into 7 traffic load happening, your answer is by default going to be a container, right? Container based solution. Now that is the container part. And so containerization part, I would say Docker, minimum basic knowledge these days are Docker and the Kubernetes. So Docker is the actually making that particular image, and Kubernetes is the container orchestrator where you like how the container is supposed to run, or not just container, yeah, container, or how that application. Suppose you have 10 containers, how one container will communicate with other containers, or maybe 10 containers, 10 different solutions. So how one a user in outside user can access on particular service. So those routing and all this ingress, exgress, if you not not sure about what I'm talking, you should go for the as your Kubernetes certification or Kubernetes courses. There are solution. All the knowledge is already available. What I'm saying is that this kind of question might come and you have to answer them. So that's the important part. Okay. So you should learn the container part and Kubernetes part, because if I start talking about the Kubernetes, it can just entire session can go on Kubernetes, right? So I will not do that. But what I'm saying is that this is a skill that is required by modern companies. If some companies, Baba Adam, like very old company or very old, they're using very old technology, they might not use it. But any modern startup, any big companies, or even medium companies these days also are highly using. They might not be using Kubernetes or containerization technologies, but they're willing to try it out. They're willing to make the solution on that because community adapting it. There are huge support. There are already proven use cases. That could be one of these. Okay. Now that's one part. So again, just to the small recap, what are the skills I talked till now? First one is shell scripting and your Linux knowledge. Second one is that infra as a code, like Terraform, that AWS cloud formation as resources. Google has the I think development kit or deployment kit something. So then now AWS has the CDK also these days. People are very highly using it. So that's one thing. So, and of course I talk about the configuration management. Now configuration management also covered, because as a DevOps engineer you have to install softwares in many instances, just not one or two. It can be 1,000, it can be 2,000. I did last time around a few months back 4,000 instances, updating their OSs, patching it, and like getting a host health status, all that in Ansible. I did that. Now what was the experience? Some like it is, even if you say I think 308 3,600 something was passing, some instance failing. So I had added some logic to remove what are the non-responding and we get separate report out of that. Those kind of tasks, like even if the employer not saying, for your own suitability, your own use case, you have to adjust the task of it. Of course, let your immediate manager know so they will be aware. So I'm coming at that because you are expected to handle this many, maybe not at the initial level, but if the business goes on, you're in a single position for a long time, you'll see instances going up and up and up. It never goes down. It always new instances, new machines getting added, and you have to handle those. It's not it's not possible to manage all the instances manually. I'm saying it, you can note it down. You cannot manage all the instances manually. You need some solution to automate, like automatically install some software, automatically pair software. For example, there is a new Nginx configuration. You have to deploy in 100 instances, or say 200 instances, for example. Can you go to all, like, do SSH and log in into all the instances, and then restart it, check it? Very tough, right? What you can do, you should have three different groups. One is a dev, one is a staging, and then the production. Based on the what is the host you have added in particular groups, you first deploy in the stage dev, for example, see all are working. Then you target the staging and see they're also working, so you're more confident it should work in the production as well. So this is the way you should be go forward. Like, don't directly apply to production, of course, that I never do it. I first try in staging, and then maybe there are even some stages like QA or pre-prod, then to production. So that's one thing. Oh, okay, I know I'm talking a lot of technologies, but these are the things that is required in modern day DevOps opportunity. Like, if you go to an interview, these are the questions they will definitely ask. I'm not going deep. I will go to deep for the Kubernetes part and the container and serverless technologies. So just wait for that. Now, what is the next one? The next one is that programming. Yes, many people ask me, Sandeep, do I need to learn programming as well? I say yes. If you're going to work with the codes, you're supposed to know the codes. Now, you don't have to know all the programming language that the world has to offer, but you should know at least one programming language. There are two reasons. First reason is that you should know how the programming logics works. Okay, and because ultimately you are going to deploy one particular programming any solution, and it's written in programming language, you should know how that programming language works. You don't have to go to very deep. Only one programming language to master, just for the automation part. Other, just suppose Python, okay, and it's expected. If you're a DevOps engineer, you should know either any backend language in general. But 99% cases, you for the automation work, you have, like, automation where it's required, I'll be coming there also, don't worry. But for automation works, you should know either Python or Go. These are the most preferred languages for DevOps engineers. Okay, so any interview or any job opportunity go, even if they don't say it, there is a hidden requirement you should know on programming language. Okay, maybe you will not find in the job description, but at the, say, in a technical round or so, they will ask you, I'm giving you this problem, solve in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. They will ask like that. Even if they say or don't say, they're supposed to be there. Okay, now, what is the programming language part? What I'm saying, suppose you know Python, for example. You know Python is very easy to learn. You learn it, and you know how to do automation. Now they're asking you to deploy one, say, Rust application, one, say, one Node.js application. Does that mean then you have to learn Node.js or not learn Rust? No, you don't have to. Just get the basic understanding from the developer that is developing the solution. Yes, you should schedule 1 hour or 2 hour, maybe 1 week. If it's required, it's fine. You should require a KT session. Just get the basic knowledge on the fluid. To make the build, what is the command substitution? To make the build, what are the binaries should present in the image? To make the build or run it successfully, what are the tools that is required to be installed, or what are the binaries need to be installed in image or OS? You have to ask them very clearly. Otherwise, how will you know? You are not under jam. You just, I will know everything, even they don't say. Because if you think that you are self-sufficient, you don't need any help from the developers, you will come to so many problems that, suppose just consulting for 1 hour would have been made a solution. Now, because of the ego, or say you are senior engineer, not supposed to ask that particular engineer, that bad impression or the bad ego might cost you many weeks or maybe the project cancellations. So you don't want that. You may just go to developer and ask them how to run the build, what are the command you go for testing, and what is the command that you're using for say quality check and whatever it is. Okay, what they're doing, just have the commands and add in your CI/CD. Now I'm coming to CI/CD. So just have the programming language, because that will start making sense then. So you have your programming language, you know how to make the build, how to make it runnable application code, or say final runnable binary or artifact that you're going to deploy in, say, staging or prod or whatever it is. Okay, that is now ready. Those knowledge you get from the developer. If you are like, most cases you're not the developer doing that, it's some external developer, or say some in-house team doing that. You get that knowledge and you start making the CI/CD. Now, programming language, you understand that just to the basic understanding of any program that your current organization is doing, that you have to like make sure it's from the code, say source code in say GitHub or in say Bitbucket, GitLab, like in a code commit, whatever it is. From there, whatever is your production systems running, smooth deployment should be there, right? For that, you need the CI/CD. Now, before going to CI/CD, the automation part I told you, right? I'll discussing that. So automation part, what kind of automation you have to work on? And in the interviews also, they will ask, do you know or do you can automate? We have lot of things that like the question like that, okay? Because I faced it. I have this process, say log processing or say some manual trigger or instead of cron job that manual triggering and all. So what is the solution should be there? Like we don't want to make it manual. We want to make it more automatic. There should be nothing manual. That kind of requirement. Then how we'll handle it? Simply say we can run the cron job. We can run the CloudWatch alert. Like there is also you can set schedules or and use the lambdas and all. Now that's just the scheduler or the you can say the executions. Okay, you have to write the codes in something because now code you can write in shell scripting, but if there is any database interaction, too much JSON work or too much YML or say too much log processing work, if you are just depending on the Linux, it just might become it will become too complicated. You pull your hair because it's so complicated that way. What you should do, have a very high level programming language, just like Python or Go. Go is also very good if you want to do multi-processing, some kind of job. Go is really excellent. I tried out many times last 1 year. I found very useful. Now for the easiness part, I found Python to be more easier. And some cases, if you I need to be very faster, some any other programming language came to the picture. If I think that might save my time, it might make it faster, the quality will be better. I have already like asked the senior engineer, do you I'm proposing this, are you agree? If you don't agree, we'll have a discussion and we'll finalize what is the approach. If he agrees, I'll just simply implement that. Okay, so you should always go check for that. Don't just simply go and implement. You discuss with your senior managers or engineers, have a discussion, and then you finalize that. So, but whatever is the case, you are ultimately writing some automation scripting, right, to make the manual job more automatic. Be it log processing, be it some event trigger, be it some sending alerts or notification, be it some anomaly detection, whatever the hell it is, you need to write an automated manual. Nothing should be manual more. That's one of the like it's reducing the manual effort to automate things, and you can more focus on the actual business logic than manually doing anything. That was the main goal. Okay, now that is one part, having the automation. And for the automation you need at least one programming language. Python is the most preferred. If you are looking for in a better one, I'll say more of the system specific one, or say what can make you job more faster, Go is also good. So either Python or Go, I will suggest. Okay, in any interview, Go for DevOps engineer, mostly it's going to be either Python, most is Python or Go. Any backend language, they're gonna consider. Okay, now that is one thing. Now what's the next one? Yes, you are. I mean, I already told you that the CI/CD. Now, what is the CI/CD? Now, to understand the CI/CD, you first understand how the software development works. And that is a very very interesting concept. If you're very new to development and just thinking about maybe you want to become a DevOps engineer, listen very carefully. In software development, you have to first write the code. Now, you're writing code, you cannot just save it locally and run it locally. You cannot. And if it's in a team, people are not going to walk in your computer. They have their own machines. Now, if you're making one change, they're making one change in the same code base, then will be huge conflicts. And if you just keep doing that and you don't have any version management or say any such kind of mechanism for code version history or who's making what changes, it's impossible to make any solution in a team at least. So what is the solution for that? That's the reason why you have the Git repos and Git technologies are there, right? So what they do, whatever changes you're making, you're committing, you are adding what are the changes you're making, what is the reason of changes or what is the description of the changes, and that change you're first making local commit or locally saving that change, then you're pushing that change in the remote repo. Again, remote repo means it's just someone else a computer or some storage is there in the internet, you're storing that particular your changes there. Okay, and it has to be of course a secure one. Most cases all the repos are secure one. The commercial solution, at least, if you make them private. Of course, if you make them public, there is no security, it's open to all. If you're making it public, it will be secure. Now, what I'm coming at, that for example, if you're making any change, your team making change, and suppose you made some change and some other people making change, there is an overlap, there will be conflict, and whoever making the last change, they have to pull the changes first, then they have to merge all the config whatever they're doing, and then the push. Of course, there will be initial, say, there may be more conflict that you can, before making any merge to master branch or those kind of concepts are there. If you're not aware, don't worry, you can just go to any Udemy courses for Git course, and all courses are really excellent. I found out many courses are there. I maybe in my different I think my article section, if you go, there are a lot of already roadmap available for what are the Git courses and all that. I think Suva already shared that. It's good job, Shiva. You can just simply follow that one. Okay, so that is there, so you can learn. You don't have to learn right now, just go later on, you can go and learn that code versioning using Git, GitHub, Bitbucket, a lot of tools, a lot of choices. Most cases, ultimately the Git is common, then storage is different. Okay, and I will suggest good ones are GitLab, GitHub, Bitbucket, all are good. You can try out all the things. I mean, why not? Just, it's all free, right? You go there and create a repo and try it out. Nothing complicated. Okay, yeah, all repos actually. First, you're making, like, software developer making changes, that going to there. Now, uh, that particular change, has supposed to deploy somewhere. Like, you're making change, you're making any application. Now, that application is supposed to do something, right? I mean, either it's going to process data, it's going to accept the HTTP request and send the response back. It may be creating some records in databases, or it may do all the things that I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that, um, what I'm saying is that if you really want to, deploy the solution, and what I said in the automation, you don't want anything manual. You have to remove anything that is manual and make everything more automatic, so you can focus on the business logic more. That should be your goal. Now, to do that, there are many solutions, and CI/CD solution is the most accepted one at this moment. Now I'm coming to what exactly is a CI/CD. Now I give you the backstory. You have the source code, and you have to suppose deploy in any servers, be it staging, production, QA, whatever it is. You have to deploy in some servers, so it can say accept the request, user request. It can process data, it can save data, do whatever it is you want, whatever your end goal is. There's a gap, right? Source code to servers. Your code should go somehow magically and deploy to the staging or production servers, right? There's a middle one filling is the CI/CD. Now, first I will talk about the CI, and then I will talk about the CD. So, CI part is the continuous integration. Now, what exactly is the continuous integration? Suppose you make some changes, okay, or anyone making any changes, doesn't matter. Anyone, like, any change happening in the code, is that change right? Is that change following all the code quality? Like, if I suppose you are making any change, did you, I mean, if you don't use any linter at all, most cases that if you don't use linter, suppose you're missing any semicolon or missing any particular brackets, could be any reason, right? There will be issues, right? So that particular issue is should not be there. It's expected. The code quality should maintain. If there is, I mean, if you don't have such checks, how will you never know, right? That's the reason CI phase, you have the continuous testing. So now, to do even testing, your source code need to be compiled in a runnable state. Now, to make it runnable, how you're doing runnable, whatever, I mean, you already have some kind of say list of the libraries or modules required to run the application in the source code itself. So it will simply pull that code. So there will be one server or maybe Docker image or it's a Docker container, whatever. There should be one temporary runnable machine where all the code that you have made the changes, or whoever made the changes, they will pull it. Then the next step will be to install whatever dependencies. Now it's Python, it will require the Python using pip. You should require all the whatever the requirements are. And suppose it's the Node.js, then it should install it should run the npm installation, and whatever the packages, and you have your dependencies list, it should be installed. Similarly, if it's in Go, then whatever you have in Go mode, it will just install all that. So what I'm saying that that particular, that temporary instance part, it can be your own resources, or you can use the offered cloud solution provided by this CI/CD solution provider, or this Git solution providers, to be more in the actual. So they will provide or you will provide, but you need a one instance or one machine, like in laptop, like kind of things, or maybe a remote instance to run your builds there. So again, it will simply pull your all your GitHub Git or bucket, I mean, your Git code, and so now it can be GitHub, Bitbucket, whatever. That's why I'm getting confused. So anywhere you have the source code, it will just simply pull from there, and it will install all the that is modules required to run the application. It will do that, then it will run the application, or maybe it should remain temporary runnable state, maybe some fake databases, fake users, and all that, and it will start to try to run application in the build system itself, to see that maybe, or maybe it will run the linters there's available. There is external linters available, so you can just have the linter library, you can download it, or maybe in the code base itself you can have the linter setup. It will simply lint the particular codes. Now if there is any problem, it can simply try, like simply will check it. If any problem, it will simply reject that last change, or simply whoever made the last change, it will notify them, or maybe it will notify the release manager, or maybe DevOps engineers or senior engineers, that this build failed. Maybe there's a Slack channel where this failure will get posted, and other engineers will get to know that, and that engineer, if he noticed, or if his or her manager notice it, they will ask to fix that particular problem. Okay. After that, the change will get, like the fix will happen. They will start like locally, they will lint before sending the code. That's how the quality code next time get pushed, and it will get tested. If all good, it will be there will be artifact, or you can say the binaries or runnable state application code will get zipped, and will get stored any particular storage. So you can say artifact stored, it can be S3, it can be resources, anywhere, like whatever is getting stored. Okay, it can be Google storage, Google Cloud storage, whatever it is you want to, your application is running, or your preferred storage part, it will store there, and it will move to the next phase. Now I covered the CI part, right? CI is the making that build and testing it. That's the main CI/CD job. Next part is the CD, or continuous deployment, or continuous delivery, whatever is it. I have explained this difference a lot of time. So just I'll give you a basic idea, then you should do your own research. In this phase, basically the application that you make changes should get deployed, be in the staging, or in the, say, the production, whatever your choice. Okay. What will happen is there that wherever you store that artifact, it will, that particular build machine, or maybe another build machine, will pull that final artifact, and make sure, like, what are the targets for deployments. It will choose, or if you already have that target, it will simply deploy to that particular target. And suppose there any failure after after deployment, it can happen. Like, failures are new normal thing, it can happen. In that case, it should have a mechanism to roll back the changes, so that it have the minimum impact on the real users. Otherwise, it's a failure. So CI is the, or the continuous integration, is the phase where the code getting built and tested. CD, where is the code getting deployed to staging or production based on your configuration. There's the CI/CD. Now, this CI/CD. Now, what are the pipeline? Pipelines are like where do you put your logic for CI/CD, like how this continuous integration gonna happen, how this continuous deployment gonna happen. That is provided by the your repo providers, or there is external tool like Carsus provider also. Now, repo provided to us, say, a repository or remote repository provided tools are what? For example, GitLab CI/CD, for example, GitHub Actions, for example, Bitbucket pipeline, for example. Like, there are a lot of examples. Okay. And one is that cloud specific. If you go for cloud specific, there is AWS code pipeline, there is Azure code pipeline also there. Azure, I think it's just Azure pipeline. So these are all the tools are there. You have to choose the right tool for your project, and based on that, you have to add all the logics there for the CI/CD. That's the CI/CD tool you have to learn. Now, if you ask me what you should learn, of course there is open source available, right? So my personal choice, to be honest, first look at the open source one. What are the open source solution? There is Jenkins available, right? So first start with Jenkins one, because it removed that dependability on any particular vendor. It's open source, so you can run it anywhere, right? Now, if you like when to use Jenkins and when to use normal cloud solutions, or maybe other third party vendors. If you see that your particular current plan for enterprise or business plan have some credit, or already have some, like, resources freely available, then go for those free tools. That is the, from the cost perspective, that's the best choice you can make. But if it's costing you higher than running normal in a normal instance, then you might do go for the open source solution and use that one for your CI/CD pipeline requirements. Okay, now that's one thing. Oh, we have covered a lot, right? So first is Linux, shell scripting, then the infra as a code is like Terraform, it was confirmation. Then you have the configuration management using Ansible. There are other options also like Shape or Puppet, but most cases, if you know Ansible, you are more than enough for most of the cases. Okay. Then there is a basic programming language and one basic backend programming language. My preferred one is Python or Go. That's also very good. But if you know any other backend programming, like say Java or say Node.js, for example, like JavaScript is a language or Node.js is the runnable engine, right? So, or the platform, you can use that also. But again, my personal choice is Python or Go. Okay. Now, that's one thing, right? So that's done. Now, again, I discuss about the continuations, right? So in continuation, I'm coming back again. So already to the reason, right? Portability, like removing the OS dependencies, giving the flexibility for doing a lot of stuff. Like all the cloud service providers support natively these images now or the container images. So that's one of the reason. Now in Kubernetes specifically, all the lead cloud service providers, be it AWS, be it GCP, be it Azure, all all cloud service providers have their own certified Kubernetes solution. So whatever the Kubernetes should give the solution is, since it's a certified solution, they should support the exact same packages. Okay, that's why they're certified solutions. Okay, now what you should learn there in the Kubernetes. First of all, you should learn the Kubernetes basic architecture. Now, if you ask me the courses, I was thinking of making one, but then I saw Tech Wall with Nana courses. There is Mumshad course, really excellent course. Like they already have so really excellent courses. I say there's no point creating new one. I mean, they already made so good and they already also update. Like Nana have the free resources freely available for everyone, right? Then why should put effort? I think I can just put effort on other tools that these guys doesn't cover. I covered them. Okay, so what I'm saying is that resources are enoughly, I mean, available enough in Udemy and YouTube. You can simply refer to them. What you should focus on is that particular, like how the exact architecture works, how the ETDC for the user as a data store, how the controller node may control all the components, how this interaction going on, how from say as a user perspective, if you are making any request is going to the Kubernetes API, then how there's routing to other, like it's controlling other resources, how you're running the containers like as a in a pod, like pod configuration, how you're writing the YAML configuration, how can you automate it, like using Helm, you can template, you can make a template of that, or maybe installable package you can make using Helm. Those are the things you should be focused on, and those are the things that will help you getting a DevOps job. Okay, it's not the basic understanding can you give a job, you have to think about the business use case of particular tool that will give you or help you get a job. Important, right? So that's the one you should know about the stateful set, and should know about the cron jobs using, or say the temporary jobs or temporary tasks running in Kubernetes. Those are the skills, if you have, you will get job. Not running a basic engineering application cannot give you a job. Okay, King Kubernetes all. What I can suggest to increase your knowledge more on the Kubernetes part, you can think of targeting the CK and CKD. That will help you. Like that require really good knowledge. That's a hands-on exam, right? So you should have a hands-on knowledge to get the certification. Will definitely help you getting good opportunities once you have certification as a proof that you work hard, like a gate pass, and that you go to companies and like if there is a requirement or not even requirement. If you are in a senior team or in a interview, so 10 people or 20 people or 30 people, out of the 30 people, only 2 people or say 3 people have the certification, and any stuff don't. You are the most prepared guy or person in that room, or most eligible person to get the job. So that's how the certification works. Okay. Now I know there is some frauds happening and all, but still the thing is that if you really worked hard for certification, you are true to yourself, high chances you will get the opportunity. So focus on that. Okay. Now what the additional things you should learn? what people neglect is that the monitoring part or the disaster recovery. I'll come to the monitoring first, and then I'll come to the that disaster recovery, and I will also discuss about what are the different role available that I will discuss. So just bear with me. Now, first one is that what is the monitoring part. Now, suppose you have 10, 20,000. I don't care. You have many instances. Okay, out of the many instances, suppose one instance start falling or system not working. If you just leave it like that, maybe users whose request going to the particular instance, even if suppose sometime at the health check there could be issues, I will come to that. But suppose they're making a request and the request is not working, how you will know that is not working? If you don't have a monitoring system, you don't know. Suppose in an instance there is not enough memory, or the CPU is maxed out, say 100%, or maybe busting out more than 100%. It can happen, right? So you need to have particular how can we have the monitoring of that. Maybe suppose if one or two, or maybe that's in a group, the average CPU load is more than 60%, 70%, it should trigger an alert to the admins or the release manager or the operation team. Now what will happen after that? They will start looking it, or they will have a log at least that this time the spike happened. So they may add some logics or some implementation that might handle the load next time. Even if the first time failure, they are preparing for the next time, right? So those kind of things only happen if they're aware of the situation. If they're not aware of the situation, it might fall apart at once. Suppose you are ignoring and ignoring. One day, so much requests came, all server gone down, and you don't know what to do. That's the moment of disaster. And I have a very good article coming on that. I will not much discuss on that. But what I'm saying is that you should have a monitoring and alerting system in place. Now, what are the most popular tools available? There is a ELK stack, there is Prometheus, Grafana in Kubernetes, there is AWS. Like if you're running in a particular cloud solution, they have their own monitoring solutions. Particularly speaking, I really like the AWS CloudWatch. So these other things are there. You should utilize all these tools that is available to you, be it open source, be it a paid solution, whatever, it doesn't matter. You should have a very good monitoring and alerting system in place. Okay, that should be a goal. Now, what is the next one? Is the disaster management. I mean, I don't have to tell you, but do you notice that all the cloud service providers last few months back was going down and all? Even now, I'm speaking, maybe some are going down. You don't know, I don't know, but this is happening. We all know. So things, all the cloud service provider, whatever solution they're providing, that might go down some point in time. Now they have a 99 point something percent, not 100% SLA, which compiles as that we are 99% up, but there might be situation when our services can go down. But it's just their part. You are the customer for AWS or any cloud or say Azure in such any cloud service providers, right? CSPs. Now in these cases, when your services go down, you are not, you might ask the question to AWS, but whom is the who are the people that ask you question? Your customers, right? And there will be thousand lakhs of question based on your customer base. So what I'm saying is that uh, if you like don't have a DR solution in place, if you can't make your solution, like your solution up and running in case of a disaster happen, it's not up and running for an hour or 2 hour, you don't understand what is the situation. Like for example, Ola, right? They have their site, they expected there's going to be a big sale, but they didn't have the infrastructure properly set up for their solution, and then go down. People ask the question, huge people cancel their order. I was one of them who canceled their order. So think of the frustration of the users. If it's 1 hour 2 hour, fine, but in a day or 2 day or maybe postponing for many days, it's unacceptable, right? So those kind of situation you can avoid if you have some DR strategy in your plan and budget. So how, I mean, for example, what kind of like solution will be very efficient there? Suppose your one region is down or maybe going out of, say, becoming very huge. Okay, you should think about global solution. So one region can go down, I should be able to add up our entire infra in a particular number of resources in another region, or maybe like another cloud. Okay, another cloud will be too much, uh, because looking at the complexity. but at least another region should be good enough, right? For that, what you can utilize, you can use infra as a code as a tool for that. Okay, as a means of disaster recovery. So just change the region should be a variable in this particular infra as a code, where you just mention some another region, and it will create the entire infra in that particular region, and it add a DNS record in the, say, in the particular DNS manager, be it like if it's a GoDaddy on, if there is a provider supportable for Terraform a particular, or maybe X third party call you have to make. Using that, you can add the particular DNS record automatically in case of all the all the instances go down in particular region. So you should have those kind of strategy, so that within an hour or so everything gonna start up and it should be up and running. Those kind of strategy you should have. Otherwise, you will see your consumers, or who you are serving, they are giving you bad like bad messages, or so bad feedbacks, and they're going for your competitors. You don't want, as a as a company, as a firm, as an engineer, you don't want that whoever was your users should going to the other places, other competitors, right? So your solution has to be robust, your solution has to be a disaster recovery, or you say disaster proof application. Now issues will happen, things will fall apart. You should know, or you should have a plan how to stand up that from that fall, like how to stand back on feet, how to run the application, and how to make sure that the request is routing to your new particular solution, or new wherever you have the new setup. Those kind of things should be in place. So those kind of recovery should be there. Now in this particular disaster recovery, I have already plan of one article, maybe soon I will release. I will not say exact date. I am making some minor changes. I will simply release that in my LinkedIn profile. Okay, so watch for that. And yeah, so these are the ones, the two, the particular skills you have, I have covered. I'll as just as a, I'll summarize all that. Shell scripting, and Linux, you should have. You should have infra as a code like Terraform, cloud formation. Terraform is preferred. Having cloud formation is good. CDK, which is actually you're writing JavaScript or similar code, is getting converted to the cloud formation. uh, Azure, suppose you're working in Azure cloud and Azure resources, similarly you have other solutions, you can go for that. If you should know about the configuration management, like installing different softwares or making some configuration changes in any particular cloud instances or cloud machine or cloud computers using Ansible. You should know that mainly how to authenticate, how to, using SSH or other means certification, login, do login in the particular host and make some changes. That part you have to understand well. Other things are easy, like writing role books and all, just some piece of code. Okay, that you should learn. Making customized, like how you can make customized solution, because everyone's requirement never same. And if it's same, that you're not working or you're not in a good place to work on, it has to be different problems, different time, otherwise you will not grow. So you should expect this kind of problem going to happen. You should write customized solution whenever required. That kind of knowledge you should have, and of course when you start writing, you will gain the confidence as well. After that, the particular programming one, any famous, I'll say top backend programming language, Python preferred or Go preferred. Okay, if you know JavaScript and Node.js, that's also fine, but you should go for that Python. Okay, then you have the CI/CD solutions. So again, there are a lot of CI/CD solutions. You should first go for the open source like Jenkins, and then cloud, but or vendor based like GitHub Actions. You have AWS code commit, sorry, not code commit, code pipeline. There are a lot of things that are available, right? Right. So GitLab CI/CD. I was thinking of making one GitLab CI/CD, so I will make one whenever I get chance. Workload is high, so spare me. I will definitely do once. So that one is there. Then you have Dockerization. Docker skill is very required. I mean, whatever company I work on so far, or any people that I work on, having a knowledge of Docker is kind of very basic. In most of the DevOps interviews and all, Docker and Kubernetes getting asked these days. So have good knowledge. I will not say basic one. Have good knowledge so that you can pass on the interviews. Okay, and then you should have the monitoring and editing solutions knowledge, preferably say Prometheus, Grafana, Cloud, that CloudWatch, or whatever you think might comes a new relic kind of solutions. So proprietary, but it's good one, right? So those kind of thing you should learn. Other than that, disaster recovery mindset, whatever this problem happened, because the till day whatever interview I've given as a senior DevOps engineer or as a lead DevOps engineer now, I have faced 5 to 6 this kind of disaster recovery questions. One of them was kind of saying that suppose you have a on-premise DB running. Now you're migrating to the remote DB. Okay, how can you make sure that the any request coming to the, I mean, any request should not come to the local on-premise DB. It should come to the only particular remote DB. So there is two, not a single solution for that. There's two things. You have to start one live migration job, so all the data till your new instance, you're ready to like redirect the traffic. This should be live migration, and as soon as your live migration complete or your instance is like sync up fully all at level, you should make a DNS level change that it should automatically go to the new DB. That, or maybe there is some cache also, right? I mean, if you think that on premise or say any user have their cache, so that cache stay for a few minutes or second, maybe a day, whatever your configurations are. So in the local instance also, any request coming, you should automatically do 30, like there is a 30 something code is there for the redirection logic. You should have this kind of logic so that the request will redirect to the remote or cloud DB. So those kind of questions get asked. You should be preparing for that. Okay, and I will now come to the different type of the DevOps opportunities, because I think many people have this kind of confusion. There is a lot of DevOps positions. Like it's on like now what happens. There is DevOps, there is cloud DevOps, there is ML ops, there is, I don't know. There are a lot of ops these days. So, but yeah, there are kind of branches of DevOps, I will say, because ultimate the core logic. Now SRE is also there, right? I mean, how I can forget the SREs? So SRE is also there now. Difference part I have already told multiple time. Again, I was thinking of writing an article, so maybe in that particular article I will also write about these differences. But think of that, there are a lot of positions available, right? That the ultimate core logic is like, oh, I think I forgot AWS DevOps, Azure DevOps, open source DevOps. I don't know. If you guys know any kind of DevOps, you can, like, I'm missing, you can let me know in the comments, okay? But there are a lot of different DevOps terms are getting used. So now you might get confused, like what DevOps position I should choose, and that's a kind of legitimate question. So what I'm saying, yeah, that's Siddharth saying that DevSecOps, right? So there are a lot of things, right? So I will start from the DevSecOps, okay, because that was a very good one. DevSecOps is saying that whatever solution you're planning, security should be on top of your mind. Like based on security, like have the security measurement before giving a solution, and that should by default be true. Any solution, not just DevOps, and even the software development, also any solution making, you have to make sure you are considering security before making the solution. Okay, or maybe during the solution you're making, you should at least add the security later on. Okay, that should be your job. So Dexego was saying this, having more emphasis on this security part, but it should be already in a normal DevOps itself. So same kind of meaning. So I'm saying that DevOps might have different names and all. Based on different role, the challenges or the kind of tasks that you get, it's different. For example, say it's a normal DevOps. You may be junior or senior, mid, normal DevOps or senior DevOps. You are getting, they are asking about say on CI/CD. Now if it's, they're not using any cloud, particularly say they're using DigitalOcean or maybe other cloud or say another instance, maybe on prem, then you might use the Jenkins as an open source tool, and then having your whatever Groove scripting or say the declarative scripting, descriptive pipeline in place to make the CI/CD and CI/CD solution in place. Okay. Now, what if you have to you are a AWS DevOps, for example? That means that AWS have the DevOps tools and services. Particularly speaking, for the CI, for the pipeline, you have the AWS code pipeline. For the code depot part, you have the AWS code commit. For the build part, you have AWS code build. For the deployment, you have the AWS code deployment. So using those tools, you should do your CI/CD, or maybe you should store your code in the code commit, and you have the, for the build part, I mean, you should use the AWS code pipeline. Then using the AWS code pipeline, you should make your code build. From that build, you export the artifact, and then export artifact to the next phase, or the next step, that is the deployment, continuous deployment. Then you might have targeting the ECAs or EC2 or EK. I mean, EK is not a target there, but whatever solution, I mean, whatever target you should available, any other target, or maybe a custom deployment logic. You can do all that using the AWS tools, right? That's mostly called AWS DevOps. Similarly, what do you call the Azure DevOps? Azure DevOps, Azure have the Azure Depot, Azure Pipeline, Azure other other services. So using that, you should make your CI/CD solution in place, and your code should store the Azure repos, and from there you should configure all that. That's what they're saying. So it just simply means that if a particular cloud provider is saying like Azure DevOps, say AWS DevOps, using that particular clouds or the proprietary DevOps tool you're going to use. So meanings might change based on the positions also. So you might want to join a job like in a normal DevOps job. You can have the Jenkins deployment, you can have any cloud deployment also. But in a particular, when you're going for say Azure or the particular title based one, you might expect that particular cloud specific job or the task you're going to get. So that's only the difference I can tell. Okay, to be on, you can say honestly. Ah, what is the thing? I have seen Shogun offering takeoffs. I don't know what else they're gonna add. Okay, so new trend, you adding the ops in anything and adding that, but in core ultimately, as I say, right, you're adding some self scripting commands in your pipeline or the scripts. You're deploying some be in on prem or be in cloud. Some places you are doing that. Um Doing all that, right? And you have your monitoring and the like analytics system in place, which is you are getting alerts and all. You have your disaster recovery scan you handle, automation script you're writing. So those are the things. Now with all that, I didn't specify one thing. I don't know. Okay, yeah, GitOps. I haven't been. I think I made one particular small tutorial on GitOps also. It's that you are making any. You're treating your infra as a code, like your Terraform or say your Pulumi or similar kind of or say CloudFormation as a code. Then once suppose you make any change, that code should automatically trigger and then deploy to staging, and then based on approval, it go to production. Those kind of system or say CI/CD in place, we're calling that GitOps. So that's it. So ah, deep. Yeah, I'm senior DevOps engineer, just a small DevOps engineer. So what I'm saying is that this kind of things in place should be there based on different position might just change. Say for example, Kubernetes engineer, DevOps engineer in the brackets or in a colon, and this in Kubernetes. That means you are going to write CI/CD pipelines for Kubernetes cluster. That means you are going to write the Kubernetes manifest files or say the configuration files. That means you are going to handle the nodes, the deployment strategies, in this process, all the logics and all that in the particular Kubernetes cluster. That means you are going to upgrade the Kubernetes cluster. That means you are like manage the entire whatever the challenge you're going to face in the Kubernetes. So that's it. So based on the title or the opportunity getting the scope of the job, the task might differ. As a normal DevOps in your position, suppose you have a cluster to manage in like Kubernetes, you have to write normal also. I mean, you have to write CI/CD pipeline for normal also, right? So so that's right. I mean, you can do all that right using the normal in normal DevOps position as well. So I'm saying that the tools can be different, the tasks can be different based on your position as well. As I say, there are a lot of DevOps positions now, and that's true. I might have told more than 300 times because of DevOps session, right? Um so those things are there. What I will say, you should focus on the strategy more. And the thing that I don't know if you guys notice or not, I didn't say I didn't mention one particular skill that you might have. I mean, you should already guessed by now. It's the cost part. I mean, you should not guess that you can run 10,000 machine or 1,000 machine or 100 machine for making one build, right? Or maybe you're using the bigger machines available for making build to make it faster. You're gonna do that. You have to run by the budget. You have to think about the budget also before making any solutions, right? Because suppose your cloud budget is only $100, $200, you cannot have a build machine or say build running and running forever and generating bill of $2,000, $3,000. So consider your budget as well before providing installation. That's I didn't mention, but mentioning now. So all this, like what I was said, that knowledge in a particular cloud, how much it's going to be cost and all that knowledge also very good. And in interviews also, directly indirectly, this kind of question related to cost also matters. So I have to put that as well. Okay. Oh, okay. Now I will go through all the questions, and I have a lot of questions to answer. See, um, I told you, right? I will tell you how to find a DevOps opportunity, and I am coming back to that. Now, how to find a DevOps opportunity. Now, there are job sites available, Monster, LinkedIn Jobs, and Indeed. A lot of jobs are available, and you go to any places, you will find that DevOps opportunities are in very in demand in general. If you mention in your profiles and in your so you share that you're looking for jobs, you are in your resume mentioned that you have the DevOps skills, so recruiters might also come. So you have, yeah, uh, chances are less for recruiters coming these days, but you can just go ahead and see, like there is a cut shot.io, something like a lot of sites available in Insta Hire and this kind of sites. Like, look for the what are the job sites. If you find a big list, go there and start applying for the position where you are getting the good opportunity. And that's a good place. If you're thinking about, say, freelancing based positions, then if you go to any freelancing site, for example, um, say TopTel, Turing, freelancing.com, Upwork, this kind of site, like most of the sites have the good DevOps opportunities. Of course, some site have a very rigorous process for testing and all. You have to pass them. If you have the right skill set, you definitely pass and you will get the job. It's going to the next turn. It's okay to shift companies frequently. About It's perfectly fine. Even if you're like this days, you see you're getting, like many people have seen even making switch 6 or 7 month also. Some might see as bad, some might see as an adventure and looking for new opportunities, new position of growth. I feel it's not. It's based on, of course, your own preference. I'd say at least staying 1 year is a good practice. Otherwise, I mean, if you are that adventurous, you know that you're getting very good opportunities, why not make a shift? Okay, but it's your own choice. Some might think is good, because if you have too many makeshifted and you have good knowledge base, you're passing the interviews and you have this kind of skills. One negative point is that whatever the company is hiding, and they might think that okay, you are making too many job changes, that you might just leave our company also. Those fear might have, but if it's a temporary position they're hiding for, or they're just hiding you and seeing that you are good enough or not, in those cases that doesn't matter. So yeah, it's just your preference that you want to make any changes and make a lot of frequently make changes. I have seen a lot of people who make frequent changes now making very huge money. I have seen a lot of people who are making these kind of shifts also not getting opportunities. So both can happen, but everything come down, if you have the skills, nobody can hold you down. Because suppose the company doesn't hire, you don't care. You can get a freelancing job and you can work for multiple clients. किसने रोका है भाई? Okay. Any idea on Valero? No, I didn't try it out, but I will just keep a note of that so that I will remember. Okay. Um, what is the questions? The next, can you please share the DevOps engineer roadmap? Also, please suggest how can I improve my coding as I'm making coding. So yeah, DevOps roadmap I already shared on my LinkedIn profile. I think Shubha already shared that. Thank you, Shubha, for that. You can go to my LinkedIn profile and you can simply see in feature section or in my past articles. You'll find that. Okay, so you can do that. And how to improve the coding. Okay, so yeah, DevOps positions, you don't have to be a, like, if you are master of coding is good, but if you're not a master of coding, it should not be a big issue. You should have the basic understanding of the programming language. At least try to make some loops, try to define the variables, try to make some logical say calculators, make some content like HTTP APIs. This is how we start. I mean, suppose I'm going to start a new programming language, for example. Then I will start seeing first what are the keywords they have. Okay, what are the keywords they have available. Then I will see how to run like how to define variables. Then I will see how to run the loop. Then I will see how to run conditional logics. Then I will see what are the special characters I can use or I cannot use. Then I will see how I can make HTTP APIs. Then I can see how I can parse JSON, how I can interact with databases. So that's the strategy I follow. You might follow. I mean, that's, see, everyone have their own strategy. Everyone then, like, their own preferences. My preference is to go step by step from small or easy challenges to complex. That we can go and can get the knowledge of the coding and at the same time. Okay. And yeah, follow the courses that freely available in all the like Udemy. Like how I choose my Udemy courses, I just go to Udemy, search for a topic, I see most stars and most reviews, I simply go for that. And most cases 500 rupees, so I don't care anyway. uh, it's while on initial stage in DevOps, Kubernetes deployment and making challenge. Yes, initial stage not just Kubernetes. The Docker might also, if we suppose someone asks you suddenly if you're new to Docker, make multi-stage Docker builds, make sure that build size should never exceed 100 MB or 200 MB. You will like pull your hair. Like, don't have an idea, right? So what I'm saying, of course there will be initial level problems, but the moment you start working on and you, you just keep going on and going on, you will see that big challenges becoming tiny problems. Okay. And you might have some other bigger problem to handle. So that goes on, and you just first time make changes, you very hesitant on making changes, but the moment you keep go on, it's like all become a baby lollipop kind of things. Just keep going on. Okay, just piece of a cake. If you keep going on, if you just fear and don't try it out, it will stay like that forever. If you just try it out, keep working on, just add, face the new challenges, this task and these challenges become smaller. Okay, that's how you should move forward. Okay, so it's short of saying that I have some AWS infrastructure knowledge. How should I start my career in AWS DevOps? Okay, if you have AWS infrastructure knowledge, you can try for the AWS DevOps positions. There, you mostly need the AWS DevOps tool, like code commit, code pipeline, code build, those things. Addition to that, you should have one programming language. Of course, like whatever skills I've said in the from the beginning itself, you should have all that. Cell scripting, Linux, infrastructure code, etc. Form, cloud formation, and all those skills. CDK, if you have, that's good one. So you should have all that, and that should be good to go. Of course, if you're thinking about AWS and all, you should have the understanding of the core services instance, EC2, IDS, Elastic Cache, Elasticsearch, S3, say the Mac or like security services, KMS, all the knowledge you should have. Okay, so just prefer for that. What is the best website to practice hands-on Land DevOps? I didn't find any site for that. But I think there is one particular site for learning at least. And hands-on lab, I think they also have, that is Code Cloud. So Code Cloud have these things. Mumshad and like his founder does really good job. I don't know he see my suggestion or not, but yeah, he is doing really great job. Uh, my biggest challenge, how can anyone roughly want to experience get a remote job, particularly, yeah, that's a challenge. It's certainly not an impossible job. Many bhaiya didis, these YouTubers, you were saying they have no knowledge or only one in knowledge, just bragging about it. So of course they might got a job. And I have know some people personally also. I will not just blame anyone. I have seen personally people who already got good jobs in DevOps and cloud, even if they have 1 or 2 year experience. That's possible. Of course, they possess very good skill set, and good skill set means what are the skills that I've said? So scripting, Linux, all those things, cloud provider knowledge, AWS, Azure. At least AWS they have, because most of the followers, most of the person I know are AWS people. So they have that cloud knowledge. They have the Ansible, like Jenkins, or the tools I have talked about. They have all those knowledge. So they have the knowledge, they have the skills, they have even certifications, AWS, DevOps Pro, at least the AWS SUBs or the associate one they have. So have some certification, have some good knowledge, do hands-on, save that all this things in GitHub repo so that I can show that to the recruiters and all. Those will be very helpful in getting job. Okay. Um, yeah, what these DevOps guys do in real world. I mean, I think, see, uh, as a DevOps engineer, what do you need, what you are doing these days are, uh, you write the automation scripting. Say any suppose one file getting kind of a log file getting pushed. You're just pushing the file, seeing the errors, any errors happening, any particular error function or any log tracking and all. Then you're getting meaningful data out of the logs and doing some that. Other than that, say you are doing the infra part. So suppose creating the infrastructure, deleting infrastructure, managing, updating, all that infra part they're doing. Kubernetes cluster management implementation they do as a part of their DevOps jobs. Then you have the CI/CD pipeline making sure whatever the changes that developers making, it's supposed to require new testings and all, whatever integration you need, you keep adding that. Then making your release processes more fine line. So those kind of tasks as a DevOps engineer you have to do. Okay, and there could be other problem also. Sometimes DevOps engineer you have to keep improving your code bases because you might have to use this integrate new service. So you have to improve that. You have many clients, keep adding and adding. There could be some automation for adding the clients. So those kind of things you need. Okay. Okay. Some what is so it's Shiva's somebody. Hi. We are hiring for DevOps. Please find Google links. So we have to hire someone. I mean, looking for opportunity, they can go there. Okay, we got it. You don't have to ask them multiple times. As I need this Subham joined from Bangalore. My question is that I am particularly DBA having MySQL, Mongo, Postgres, IDS, Aurora knowledge is good. Now, if I look forward to work as a mix of DevOps, Cloud, DBA, yeah, that's good. I mean, if you have a common DevOps skills and the data part is a specialty, that's good. You can be a DevOps, like you can find you can say the DB focused DevOps opportunities. Like there are development focused DevOps opportunities. There are DB focused DevOps opportunities. There is security focused DevOps opportunities. There are a lot of kind of this kind of positions going on. You can look for the opportunities that have the heavy DB usage. They will get the job. I mean, you get the job anyway, but they will get the most high salary job kind of thing. Okay, can you tell which level Python recover DevOps? I'll say good level, not the basic one. Like basic is required anyway. Basic, medium. I'll say at least able to pass the JSON, have make JSON packages, have database interaction, like how to get the fetch and store data in MongoDB, MySQL. All that skills is required. Okay. Python scripting automation is needed for DevOps, but still, what level should be enough? It's not like Python developer, right? That's true. As I say, you should be able to process log like reading, writing files. Now, to all that, you need basic Python. If you don't know the basic Python, how to scope the variable, this is something like that. But how to write the conditional logic, how to run the if, how to run the if else statements, how to run the loops, how to run the ranges, how to pass the JSON data, how to make packages, how to use other package and import maybe some particular one package you have to import. Those are the basic skills. Like I'm saying that what are the basic skills or basic knowledge you must have in the Python. If you have that, that should be good enough to get started. You don't have to become expert anyway because while you're working on any DevOps projects, you will become expert if you're writing some automation scripting for a long time. So that should not be a problem. Yeah, good knowledge required. Like not like if you have like very deep dive knowledge. No, good enough to work with the files, databases, scheduling, and all that basic knowledge you should have. Hi bro, I'm trying to change my domain from sales for DevOps. In DevOps, which tools should we learn? Should we focus in particular part like Kubernetes? Yeah, I mean, I already, I don't know if you join later on, but from the beginning, I have already mentioned the thing. You can just rewind on that's already there. But uh, just like since you already asked, I will just say once. Yes, containerizations like Docker, Kubernetes, serverless technologies, then say Linux scripting, Terraform, Ansible, Jenkins. These are the tools. These are the skills are very demand. If you have those, you will get open quickly. Or should I focus on Kubernetes? No, just don't focus on this. Yes, Kubernetes is good. It's hot. It is giving you opportunities. That this is not the only thing you should focus. You should also focus on Linux, shell scripting, the infra as a code part, coordinations part. Yes, Kubernetes. If you have interest, why not just focus like become a specialized on Kubernetes? But yeah, focus on everything. Okay, not just one thing. So I go and take the course from Edureka for DevOps since I am a system admin in Windows. No problem. I mean, if you find yeah, Edureka courses and Intelli something, IntelliJ, their courses also good. But I will suggest if it's a big money, big amount, like some big amount, don't go for there. You can just go for the Udemy courses. There also you have the full course available, right? For cheap 500 rupees. can just go there and have the course. I would suggest that at least. Mm. As Sandeep is how beneficial Lean Six Sigma certificate. Nobody cares. Okay. Even you have Six Sigma, if you have 1,000 certification, yeah, certification having a good thing, but that doesn't matter if it's not getting used in your job day wise. There's no point. I didn't find Six Sigma or having a PMP kind of certification any value in DevOps roles, but having AWS DevOps certification or Azure DevOps expert kind of certification help you getting a very good job opportunity in other places that you can do. Hey, okay, Murli. Um, okay, so you're saying it's visible. No, it's okay. I think how to learn Python script, like go for full Python course or just no go for full Python course because they're like, knowing good things don't have problem. Like, there is no the cost knowing having a good knowledge, right? So what you should be focusing on that you go and have the full course, and then you do some log processing like as for a demo parts only, log processing, some HTTP APIs, and using Flask and Django, that you should do. You don't have to learn very in depth, but you should know how to work with files, how to work with databases, make some APIs. That should be it. Okay. Sir, I've done training course on solution architect, but it's very difficult to find new opportunity for the fresher. Should I continue or need to learn DevOps too? See, again, based on interest, just DevOps architect job, sometimes it's too difficult for the freshers. That is, I think these days there are demands, and you might find a DevOps opportunity if you have the skills. Now, having good cloud skills and good DevOps skill set can get you job even if you're a fresher or experienced person. So, if you have good skills, not a problem. Like show them off. That's the most important part. How to set up EKs on ECS file? EFK. EFK. I mean, EFS. I don't know. If it's EFS on ECS target, then you can just go from the configuration in that particular task definition configuration. But I don't know EFK. I don't remember the moment. You can just clarify later on. It's fine. How is the market scanner for freshers? It's challenging, but it's hopeful. Um, One thing is that recession is going on, like it's gonna come. It's inevitable. Bubble getting burst everywhere. Looking at the companies and all share values and everything, but I should be hopeful. There will be always opportunities. There will be always requirements and hiring. You should focus on developing your skills and try like keep on applying for the opportunities. There is hope. Okay, don't lose your hope. Thank you, Sandeep. Organization. No problem, Vasu. Um, there's Python scripting, automation scripting needed for DevOps, but still, what level should be enough? It's not like Python. Yeah, I yesterday told. Top five models you don't need to know because there's always new models coming. Could be something better. But since you asked, I will say, yeah, file handling database that is good, right? Particular to the file processing, there's pandas. Particular to the JSON, I think JSON is the native module, but there is also external JSON libraries available. You can utilize that also. DB, MongoDB, whatever is the available plugin, not plugin, the particular module for Python, you should MongoPy, I think most probably you should learn that. I think yeah, and Django and Flask is anyway you should be aware of. So that is the required one. Gaurang saying that is it possible to get a job in Europe from India? It will be great if you share this experience in terms of DevOps. See what I am doing. I am working for US companies and some Canada and UK companies from remotely, not all together. Sometimes at least mostly US companies I'm doing from my home, getting me really well. I have no problem financially or anything like that. It's the opposite. I have good money, so no problem. I mean, what I'm saying that opportunities are really good. So what I'm coming at that to get the opportunity, how should we? Sorry. So this remote opportunities you can get from this freelancing sites, but what I do, I don't want to make cheap offers and get cheap opportunity. I'm a very costly resource to be honest, and I want to stay like that way because if you focus on quality and stay top resource, your income going to up anyway. because you're working on quality projects. So what I will suggest, if you want to get a remote job during a Toptal, or maybe directly applying from this, most of the companies, any Europe, US companies, even Singapore companies are giving remote opportunities, so you can work remotely. And but if you're going to directly go there, then you have to see the available offers and, reach out. Like, you should make your own list of companies. Your strategy should be making your own list of companies that you want to join in Europe or any other country. Then look at their opportunity section and just try to reach out their recruiters. If you try to reach out the 40 recruiters, 50 recruiters, two or three will reply, right? That's your break. They will say you that if they really like your your profile, your experience and all, they will definitely give you some hint. They will definitely take your application forward, and that's how you will get the job. Okay, and of course you can, keep applying for the opportunities in LinkedIn, here and there, like big companies. You can keep applying on, you will definitely get a job. Okay, and I know many people, not just one or two. I saw around 18 to 20 people worked in India. They moved to, some moved to Europe, some moved to US, and they got very good opportunity. They have the same strategy. Like, since I talk to everyone, they wants followers, I talk, like different session I talk, I get their strategy, they take some other more strategy from me. So I learned that they also use this kind of strategy. They try to reach out to some common link, recruiter, some friend, some family member, somehow they try to get some references and they apply for it. There's going for interview, and if you pass interview and all, all paperwork and everything is good, you get the opportunity. That's how things work. Okay. Okay, so which one is the best practice? One, build before merging the main branch. Two, merge to the main branch and trigger pipeline. No, first create a pull request, resolve all the problems there, then merge with master or so whatever the branch you're going to merge, then trigger the pipe. That should automatically trigger the pipeline. Okay, no manual. But yeah, removing all the conflicts and all that should be in the PR request itself. Okay. Please give roadmap for DevOps. I think is already given. Just Shuva already given that. So I have a question that Python scripting highly recommended to go down. Yeah, it's very very recommended. Okay. So they already published a roadmap for, yeah. That's already there. She already shared the links. How is the market scanning to get a job in AWS fresher? Again, I'm saying that getting job for fresher is really tough. Because of this reason, layoffs and all is becoming more tough. I mean, more challenging, but it's available. If you have the right skill set, right mindset, and, willing to fight on for your position and all that, you can still apply for different position and get a job. Yes, it's challenging, not many opportunities, but there are opportunities you can apply and get on. Okay. um, okay. Explain it, sorry, with DevOps. I will make a different session. I mean, this question actually I get from different people. I explained that in the most session. I just start of that. So I will make a dedicated session on that. Anybody ask me, I'm just simply right there. So I'll do that. Okay. Um, okay, it's one thing that can you share study tips and tricks in short roadmap? So yeah, Shiva already given that. So just refer to that. Okay. Um, okay, it's a good question. That DevOps version versus the cloud engineer. So what is the difference? See, the moment I'm saying it's a position for a DevOps engineer, that means the pipeline, the DB optimize, like DB say DB setup automatically via coding, or say any infrastructure resource creation via coding. Sometimes even manuals, doesn't matter, you have to do in an efficient way. Automation writing, sometimes you directly have to interact with the developers and get the requirements and have set up the DevOps pipeline, right? Now, what is the cloud engineer job? I mean, this are the all DevOps engineer. Like till now, what I've talked about, most of the DevOps engineer jobs, right? So what the cloud engineers do, they they design the VPC, they design the solution, how one solution, like one service should talk with another service solution. Then what are the, like, say recommended solution, how the cloud is to set up the budget, the networking story, whatever is the ultimately cloud specific thing. They are not directly interacting with the developers anymore, or they don't have to. They can just get the requirement from salesperson and all, but they are not directly interacting with the developers directly. They are interacting with the clients to get the final requirement, all the cloud specific requirements, and they're giving solution based on the requirements they receive. But the DevOps engineer directly work with dev team, obviously the operations team, making sure the communication is very clear, the requirements very clear, having the setup pipeline, monitoring and all, maybe a common job between the cloud DevOps engineer. But the interaction with the developers and having the requirements, having the setup pipeline and all, that is not a responsibility of cloud engineer. Cloud engineer most of the cloud specific solutions, okay, maybe serverless application development as a cloud engineer they can do, maybe the migration job as a cloud engineer they can do from one cloud to one cloud migration, maybe setting up the networking, the BGPs, or say networking CIDR, it's like any networking related requirement they can do, setting up like moving of a large chunk of data from one cloud to another cloud, or on-prem to another the cloud. Those kind of job the cloud engineer do. DevOps to the mainly course specific, or say entire DevOps implementation, from source code to deploying to the user, like listen to the user, whatever is required. DevOps. So DevOps is more vast. DevOps can include the requirements of a cloud engineer, but all the things, the vastness of the DevOps engineer they have, that is not in the cloud engineer. Like cloud engineer don't have to interact with the developers, or so those kind of things. Okay, that's the biggest difference I can say. Facing challenges getting job, please help me. So, Karthik, what I'll say, yes, getting any job is actually challenging, not just a DevOps job. But to get a DevOps job, you should have the right skills. As I say from the beginning, if you just miss it, you can just rewind. Tired of repeating every time, so you can just just repeat it. So whatever the skills I've mentioned, if you go there and learn all these tools and technologies, you'll be in a really, like, if you have the skills, if you have say AWS DevOps certification, say Azure DevOps certification, if you know how the DevOps practices works, all the logics, all the strategies, you'll definitely get a job. So you have to focus on that. Okay. Um, it's one question. What's the difference between Maven POM project, creating artifact, configuration, place? See, Maven, I think maybe you're talking about scripting. Maven, I don't know. Maybe build system you're talking about. The continuation is like running the build in container. But yeah, your question is not that clear to me. Sorry, Asutos. You can just give more description. I might give a proper answer. Otherwise, it will be too vague to answer. Why Indian services company paying less to DevOps? Indian service companies pay less to developer, engineers, whatever stuff they have, they pay as less as possible. That's the reason I don't do any domestic job. So the the reality is, um, they are they're not willing to pay. Okay, they know even some one person have the right skills. Now again, not all companies, there are good companies, good product based companies specifically pay more, but service based companies always go cheap, and what I have seen, pay less. I will not name the companies, otherwise they will start hating start hitting comments. I don't want that at the moment. But yeah, they pay a lot less. Like the say, suppose you are getting 50,000, you're a good engineer, you might get at least 1 to 2 lakh, or maybe more than that, in a product based company. Think that way. Okay, if you're getting 50, if you're getting 1 lakh, then think you might get at least 2 or 3 lakhs per month in product based company, or maybe out of India. Okay, should think that way. I have doubt English can only help. I have doubt. See, Ingress is simple. Be it your normal security groups, or say in any particular Kubernetes or whatever it is, Ingress they accepting the traffic. So from outside internet, any traffic coming to your cluster or services is Ingress. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to switch from DevOps support to DevOps job, but I'm unable to get the DevOps job. I don't know what to do now. Okay. The thing is that, see, you are in the desktop support and DevOps. I think you already might be aware of what are the particular skill set that you must have to get the DevOps jobs. You must have all the skills that is required. Get to the certification journey, and of course certifications. Then do hands-on, get knowledgeable. make sure your solution available in the GitHub so you can show them to the recruiters, and they will definitely help you getting a job. Okay, keep on trying and trying. Out of 100 try, at least you should get one job. That's I've seen. It's must have. Chances are more than one job will get offer, but you have to keep trying and trying. Okay, you just don't stop. Keep trying. That's what should you do. Um, Something doubting from educator on the side of that. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. Uh, is it difficult to get into DevOps? It's not actually. If you have the right skill set, you have the right mindset, you know the strategy works and all, it should not be a problem. Like, there are a lot of DevOps engineer in the market, right? If it's too tough, how they can get the job? Simple, right? So yes, you should have the skills. The skills are very like, you have very good skill that you work hard for that, right? If you have the skills, you will get job. If you don't have the skills, you might not get the job. That's the thing. See, I think this. I don't know. If it's a snag that you know, but you have to hard need to work hard. That's how it works. Okay. Okay. So, do you really work as a CI/CD? Because do you really work as CI/CD? We do. Why we do you many teams in CI/CD build like team package. You are talking, I think. See, this kind of thing only happen if this kind of companies have millions of millions dollar to spray on or suspend, then they can have this many teams. Yeah, testing team they have, but CI/CD in general, only the DevOps engineer set up the pipeline. Of course, the code get tested in the staging server or test server, QA server. Then, so once they approve, then another phase pre-prod will be there, then the replays get deployed. Okay, you don't need this many teams. That's too much spending. It will be out of budget. It's a big company, it's a different matter. But small or medium companies, even larger companies also will not have this many teams. Only they will have the development team, they have the so testing team, DevOps team. That's it. They don't have separate team like that. No. What is that? That could you please share the roadmap and links of each in one place? Yeah, the roadmap that I've shared, Shiva already shared. Just go to my LinkedIn profile and you will get that. To be honest, so you will have that there. Okay, as a featured item. Um, from where you can learn the Python scripting. So if you go to my YouTube channel, in the channel homepage itself, I have given the Python for Cloud kind of tutorial series. You can follow that one. And additionally, what you can do is you can go to Udemy and look for what is the most rated one. Go fire that incognito mode, so you'll find the cheap price less than even 500 rupees. Okay, you should go that way. Okay. One build before merging to what's the best practice? I think I already answered that. Yeah. In the PR phase, you merge that. That's it. Um, you are training. I was giving DevOps training, cloud training, and all that, like scripting and all that, all this required training. But now I got my hands full with projects, and delivering them is my highest priority at the moment, which is the reason. And of course, I have small child, only 5 months, taking care of them, family and all. So I decided to stop the training for a few months at least. I do have planned, like I have started a company also, legal part getting handled and all getting prepared. So I'm starting that as a training company. So I might hire resources, I will train them and they will train other people. That kind of scenario I have in my mind. Also kind of software development firm. So they will do kind of both and all. I do have the plan like that, starting own company. It's not going to be happen overnight or say next month kind of thing. It takes some few months, but once I'm ready with that, I will resume the training and all that. But it will require time. I'm a one man person right now. I do have a lot of plans, but my hands is kind of busy with a lot of things, especially newborn child is the one big responsibility and family. So sometime I need, then I'll cover a lot of things and a lot of planning and all that. Okay, some have some patience. Till then, what you should do, Udemy have really good courses. Code Cloud have really good courses, and the labs also. You can follow them. Okay, it's good. They are cheap also. If you're from India, that's even cheaper. So what are the packages in DevOps? So packages in DevOps are like not in DevOps, in packages can be in programming language. So package where the code are set up package. In the package, you just choose what is the required function, class, or whatever is the required functionality you want from that particular package. That kind of the package. Package are full of functionalities or function, the business logic, or some kind of features available that you can pull from the particular package and use it. Now in a DevOps also, if you think like say for Kubernetes, they have the packages. Say for different thing on the packages. Now maybe you are getting confused with the artifact. Now artifact is the one that suppose you make a build of a code and that code is tested. Now that code should get like there's a binary or the final code also final runnable code should be saved somewhere say um, S3 or say any other places or say JFrog artifact server. So there is getting saved, and from there you are ready for the deployment. That is the kind of thing. Or you can also call it. People also call that the deployment package. So you can call it packages. Yeah. But most people are calling them artifact. Okay, that's the thing. Because we are learning DevOps. Yes, it's true. Um, Oh, packages. Maybe you are telling of the salary. Could be. Salary is also good. Different based on the location, the seniority, the requirement. The pay different, but they pay really good. Don't worry on that. Do you really? I don't know, same question. So tell about the top pack. Okay, I think you're talking about the normal packages. So yeah, just tell me now from which programming language you are asking for. Just can tell that one. DevOps is very fast, right? Lot of tools and everything. Choosing basis is difficult. The base is real. That's I agree. I definitely agree on that. Could you please provide the recording any platform? Yeah, it's available in my YouTube channel. Go there, search by Sandip Das. One and only Sandip Das. You'll find all the recordings there. So yeah, don't worry on that. Can you list step by step skills one required to post? Yeah, I have listed step by step required skills from the scratch. Okay, just follow the video from beginning. You'll find everything step by step. Okay. Physician, I faced some issue in my last working. Okay, so do let me know what issues you're facing. You have time up to more 15 minutes, so I will definitely answer that. Is Python or self scripting required? Both required, my friend. Specifically, shell scripting is mandatory. Additionally, any backend language, Python is preferred because Python is easier to learn and integrate. Get started on that is really easier. Div between the GitHub and GitLab, which one is much focused? Both are the industry leaders. GitHub have the most funding these days because it acquired by Microsoft. GitLab also have the funds because it's acquired by public people. Its IPO is lost right in the Wall Street, so it had the money. So both have very well funded, giving really good solutions and all. Both are good. Now, if you are saying that much better features, I will say GitHub would be the preference, but no doubt both are very good. Okay. For scripting, which one should learn shell scripting? Python. I suggest both. For normal to medium complexity, say pipeline command writing, you need a shell scripting anyway, so mandatory. For complex script writing, you need Python scripting. Okay, like interaction databases, third-party API servers, and all that, you need the Python scripting. Diff between the GitHub and GitLab, which ones? Difference in the ultimately all the the code is same. Git is one of the features that developers providing. So GitHub have the most feature. I think okay. That's one. I have seen few ways. Yeah, that's for that. Um, okay. Are you DevOps engineer? I think so. YouTube's otherwise, I think I discussed that one. Do you feel Jenkins will eventually die in next 2 years? I see people moving for GitLab, CI/CD, GitHub Action as a DevOps. That's a $1 million question. See, I don't see that Jenkins gonna die. I don't see that yet because many organizations still using it as an open source solution. people don't rely on proprietary solution just because any moment they can increase the pricing, and you're forced to pay the increased pricing, and they want, like any telecom company like Geo, you first run everything free, and then suddenly increase the pricing like other telecom company. Similarly, one proprietary company have the right to increase the cost of like the solution, right? Be it GitHub Action, be it GitHub CI/CD, be it Azure DevOps and all. And that moment, if you're a proprietary user, you have to pay whatever the price set by the vendor. You don't have much choices. That if it's open source solution, like say Jenkins, you can run it anywhere in your local computer, in your rented computer, in some cheap provider, to say very cheap in a 90% discount spot instance, or say 70% discount with the savings plans, AWS reserve instance, whatever it is. I mean, you have the flexibility of that kind. So I don't see it's dying in 2 years. Having of knowledge of this proprietary CI/CD tools is good. Of course, getting opportunities because different company using different tools. But that doesn't mean Jenkins will die. I think so because Jenkins have still didn't die because it has a huge plugin support, the huge community support. There's a reason it's still there, and it might still go there. It just may introduce new version and it will just improve itself over the time. If not, that can be another question. But I see this improving, so may not be the right time. Okay, that I told, buddy. It's fine. That's a DevOps discussion. Which is the best cloud for beginner? I personally feel it's the AWS, but I will not go contradict with other people. People have their own choices. They should make their own choices. But I feel AWS is the easier one to start. In future, case priority candidate should know multiple cloud. I say yes, because more of the opportunities you see are the migration jobs. Okay, specific for the cloud opportunities and all. So if you have a good multi-cloud kind of skill, that means you know the Azure, GCP, and AWS. Okay, these three clouds, then you will get more opportunities than the people who don't have knowledge in these three. Right. So that's how the things works. Azure was GCP. See, both are good. Both are good cloud. Both are competitive clouds. Feature wise, yes, Azure have more features. But performance wise, GCP tools like service tools are very like specifically big table one and cloud functions and all. Those are very good enough. Okay, and their Kubernetes GK is also very easy to get started with. So everyone have its own pros and cons, man. So yeah. When you see automation 5%, it's improving in an exponential rate. Okay, the amount of automation I did a few years back and doing now, big thing. This is the past I did, and this is the what I'm doing right now. This is going up and up these days. This always increasing. Automation is going always up, man. Okay, DevOps engineer in Japan around same thing. What about India? See, uh, it's a very relative question, I would say, because based on your experience level, some might get even more than 70 lakh pay, right? Could be 1 crore also package, and some can get only say 20 lakh, 30 lakh package. It all depends on the rarity of your skills, the demand of your skills, your experience. You do what are the companies say you're an Amazon engineer in the past, or in your you are a Flipkart engineer. So this big company engineer you have good skills, good background, good you know, so everything is set, so you will get even better opportunities, right? So it's all depends on the kind of experience, skills, location you have. The package you will get in Kolkata, you will getting a at least double package in a Bangalore or Hyderabad location. That's a reality. Location also matters. So yeah, a lot of things matter, specifically location, skills, experience, and the past background. Okay, any advice for shift or something? Like if you're a software engineer, you have the most flexible person. Like you just the continuation part, the Linux part. If you're not that skilled, you have to skill. Because most cases I've seen, software engineer are very good at Linux these days. Most cases, okay, not everyone, but most skills I've seen, they're also good engineers. So if you I mean, good Linux skills and all, if you have that, other things are actually really easy. Even if you say shortfall in the particular tools and technology, if you have this self scripting knowledge, you can like jugaad ho jayega. You can match that one. That's it. Okay. Thanks, man. Okay. Okay, how to switch from NOC to DevOps? Just I have already speak about a lot of skill set, so just learn all the skills, practice, hands-on, appear in interviews, have something to demo to show. You'll get opportunity. Every company at least minimum 3 years ago. I'm having only one experience, but I want to become. See, it's even if they're saying 3 years, they are not getting 3 years, man. People from all backgrounds supporting. When I am suppose I post a job today, even 6 months fresher also asking me for a job for requirement is for experience. But if he have the skills, if he have something to show off that I believe that he is a very good engineer or he can become a really good resource for the company, I will recommend him. So that's how the things works. If you have the skills, if you have the experience, if you have something to show off that backs your claim, then you will get opportunity. So even if you have one experience, if you have the right skill set, you have the right certifications, you have the right mindset, you will get the opportunity. So just go that way. What is the three main advice you give for divorce beginners, especially from BPO? Yeah, I was actually a BPO person. I started my career as a BPO call center night shift. I was working from the 8 p.m. to morning 2, 3, 4, depending on the different shifts. In my beginning professional life, you can say. I didn't mention in my LinkedIn because that's not relevant kind of thing. But yeah, so what I would say, having the right skill set, of course, whatever I said in the beginning of the video, then having the the certifications very beneficial. Then what you should do, you should target for like in your company, BPO company itself, they might have a software development category. Right? I know it's very hard to code it. I know a company called something start from K. I will not name it. I might get some problem from that company. So most companies have their software development branches. So if you have the right skills, if you are very experienced BPO person, you can make switch from your support job to direct engineering position, and they might pay you really good because they don't want experienced company resources to go out of the company. That might be a break. Join as a DevOps or something, DevOps engineer, for example. If they have, if they have the position in the company, then you work for 1 year, 2 year, and you make the switch from the company. That you can do. So yeah, main advice will be focus on the skills. That is the required skill you have. The see the market demand. Always look at the market demand. Look at the position, different company what they're asking for. Of course, you don't have to learn all, but see where they're saying it must have skills. That is the section you must be worrying of. Okay, so focus on get skill on that. Is I need Terraform for building CI/CD for app with plugin deployment. I already have. Just go. There is a section called. There's a series actually, DevOps with AWS. Okay, in my channel itself, you go there and look for this particular Terraform CI/CD. Is already available there. Okay, just simply go for that one. Okay. What is the three main advice we already given? Um, if you are switching DevOps from the domain certification or say position enough to crack the interviews, it's not enough, but it's something is better than nothing. You have something to show off. That means you have more chances than the people who have nothing. Okay, so I will say it's of course beneficial. It's not 100% proof that that doesn't guarantee you will get job or certification or some projects, but it increases your chances of getting a particular job if you have those. So yes, I highly suggest them to get those. Okay, to have those things. What is the thing? What is this there? Uh, mm, भाई किड्स फ्रेशर को कितना आना चाहिए? Paisa, I mean, is it money or the skills? If it's skills wise, then you should be able to run any application in Kubernetes cluster, manage the clusters, and pass the cluster. Say adding, removing node, those skills you should have. Uh, Infra as a code for Kubernetes will be really good. either via Ansible or via the Terraform will be good. Okay, so instead of like manual is good enough, but more having knowledge of the Terraform and Ansible will be for the Kubernetes particularly will help you getting better positions. Okay, it's keep repeating Python scripting automation is needed for DevOps, but still what level now it's not like Python. Yeah, I already told that one. Yeah, it's yeah, code cloud is good. Should backend engineer learn. I actually, I mean, I was a backend engineer also before starting as DevOps, and just because I started DevOps, my packages boom skyrocketed. So package section also has the skills that we are developing solution. We should not just should we must actually know how to deploy the solution, because not just right now. I mean, in future you might just want to launch your own solutions and all. You're going to other DevOps engineer for the solutions not a good looking. Right? Even company like Google have a policy. If you are making a solution, you should know how to deploy the solution. I heard it from a Google engineer. I don't know if it's true or false, but I just heard it from him. Okay. I think that's just okay. Mm, looks like I have covered the most of the questions. How to get remote jobs from the company. See, most of the companies in LinkedIn, if you go, or any job sites you go, they are offering you the remote opportunities. Just apply for it, sit in an interview, and get the opportunity. Okay, that's how it should do. Okay, I think yeah, that's it. So that's done. So thank you for staying all this long, and yeah, we'll see in the next session. I hope you got the idea, experiences, you comment everything. Okay, so yeah, we'll see each other in next week. What is that? Is the market group company for DevOps engineer? I didn't hear the name. Sorry. Okay. So let me see. Okay, then I think that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, of course you can go to my LinkedIn and uh, ask me or continue on your question on there. It's already 9:30. Started 7:30. I think it's already two hour around 2 hour session. So I know it's long, but thanks again for staying this long. I know long session. You need very good patience to stay in that long. I hope you learned something. It's all talk and theory. Practical session anywhere like practical you can find in my YouTube videos, and I'll definitely release more. Just give me some time. So I have a lot of personal and other challenges going through. So that's after that solved, I'll again be available for making a lot of videos. So yeah, see you guys next week.